All right, well, hello everybody. Thank you so much for joining us. This is Lao Fashion Revolution Week, and this is April 23rd, and we are focused on conditions. Looking at the main question we're asking today is who made my clothes? Looking at artisans, factory workers, garment workers. Today for our panel discussion, we have in our team, we have Pan from our team who's focused on like digital strategy with us. And then we have our panelist, Cappy with Saya Brand, who has a really awesome Made in Lao brand, really focused on Lao cotton, in between handicraft products and clothing products. So we're very, very excited to hear from her today. And then, so just to start off with, sorry, I always get like a little nervous doing this. Just to start off with, would love to hear more about your brand, your background, what brought you into the handicraft industry, and what is Saya Brand all about? What is your mission? What are your values? And most importantly, about your artisans and who you work with to make your products.
Okay, my turn. Okay, I'm Gabby from Saya Brand. Actually, we started in November 2018. My background development in 2017. I was with local people because I learned many things from them about weaving. So I got some idea after that. I got some idea that how can I help them and how can I work with them. So I just started my own business that called Social Enterprise by working with local people in 5 provinces. So I focus on hand cotton, and I try to change them because in some community they do some chemical dye, but I try to change them to do a natural dye. And after that, I made 2 Lao designers that they just graduated in national in Laos. So we just formed a team, and then at first we don't have a shop. We just try the market because we are not sure about our design because we focus on simple design, but we focus more on the quality and natural product. Because about the natural product, about the handmade product is quite higher than the price is higher than other products. So we at first we was not sure about that we can sell it or not. We just join many the market fairs, like 5 or 6 markets fair, and then we got some return customers. After that, we decided to open our shop, and then we just reform our strategy and reform our team again on what we should focus on. At first, we focus on the home decor because I really like interior design, but it seems that it's difficult to sell in Laos about the home decor. So we think that if we want to approach more customer, we have to do some small thing that they can buy, and we try to approach Lao customer as well. So that's why we try to make some tote bags so like student can buy it, and we try to keep the low price for Lao people. And all of us, we love the same style, so that's why we can work together. And in every 3 months, we will change our collection because I think a lot of people they're always interested in that. They're always excited with another color, another design. So that's why we keep change our collection in every 2 or 3 months. And from now, I think it's at first we sell like offline platform. We have a shop, so in this situation, it's very hard for us. So we have to sell more online, and we lost some customer. Like when we have foreigner customer, we cannot send to them because everything is closed now. But I hope next month would be better.
Yeah. And I love hearing about your brand. Your story is very inspiring, and I think the fact that you're also a young, strong entrepreneur woman, like I think that makes you a really big role model for a lot of people, especially because you work so closely with the local community, and it helps you build a customer base with younger consumers. I think that's really, really fantastic. The work that you do and very inspiring for this audience. Um, so actually, I wanted to ask a few questions regarding what you said for Saya Brand. And the first one is, um, when it comes to your production line, what made you choose working with Lao Cotton? Did you feel like that was something difficult? Especially because you have a 3-month turnaround basically for your collection. So how does that exactly work? For if a customer orders a product, how does that work for you?
First of all, why I choose cotton? Because I think La Cotton, because I work as social development also, because I can say that nowadays some of young people they don't they don't like to do hand weaving already. So I try to keep this culture. So that's why I still focus on cotton. But it's very hard for me because sometimes we have to change the collection every 3 months. So we have to design and we have to send our design to local community. I can say that we have some obstacle because in each provinces they have different culture. Like they have many holiday. I don't know why. When I order like I need this design in next 3 weeks. Some of province they can't make it for me because they say they have to stop because they have some event. So we have to set up strategy again, how to work with them, and also the quality. But I think the quality is okay because they improve a lot when I work with them. If uh, and the color as well, because natural dye is very hard to keep the same color. Like if I order the blue one for this collection, next collection, if I order the same one, I wouldn't get the same color because of the weather, because of uh, yeah, many things. So I think this one I have to focus more. And from now, I think we know how to work with them already. Like if I want to change our collection or our next color, I have to order before 3 months because I don't know when they will finish. Yeah.
Mm. Okay, fantastic. And Pan, do you have any questions that you wanted to ask regarding like Saya Brand so far?
I'm not sure if you mentioned it, but what provinces are you working with? You said 5 provinces, right?
I work with Luang Nam Tha, Luang Nam Tha province, Udom Sai, Sê Kong, Boli Kham Sai, and Vientiane Chăn in Bang Vieng district.
Okay. So how did you get connect with them at first?
First of all, I met them in Vientiane Chăn. Like they came here for to a market fair, and then I just talked to them because it would be better for us if we found the producer, fabric producer, because we can decide with them. So at first I start from them that, but now we have more funding, so we work with JICA, so they like we do a training for local people, so they just brought local people to Vientiane, and then it would be easier for us to meet local people.
Okay, that's interesting. Thank you.
Yeah, great questions. I was about to ask the same thing. I'm wondering, do you know how many artisans you work with? And um, has your brand taken an effort to build a personal connection with your artisans for making your products? I know that since you have 3-month turnaround and you have to do specific designs, especially for this pillow, I feel like you would have to work closely with the artisans. So yeah, if we could know a little bit about your relationship with them, especially across the 5 different provinces, that would be wonderful for asking like who made my clothes.
Actually, all the products produced in Vientiane with Sayat team. Actually, we for the local weaving committee. At first, we supposed them to make the product for us, but our brand we focus on quality. So it's I think it takes time to teach them to how to produce the product with the best with the good quality. So now we just started. We just produce our product in Vientiane with designer, as I say, and for the fabric, we just because we believe that the fabric local people they very good skill at the producing the fabric, so we just let them to focus on the fabric.
Wonderful. Okay, and how long would you say it takes to make, let's say, I know we were talking a little bit about fabric, and we're talking about artisans, which is the slow fashion version, what we call slow fashion versus mass manufacturing. So how long would you say it takes to produce like a roll of cotton, like depending on what you need for, if you have 10 tote bags or something like that, how long does it take to produce those products for the artisans?
For the fabric, if we order just this simple design, I think if they have more time and they focus, like 10 meters, they can produce only 2 days. But it, as I said, that they have their own culture, so it seems that they don't focus much on the producing the fabric because they also a farmer. So it takes like 1 week or 2 weeks. So after we decide the fabric, 1 week or 2 weeks, we send to Vientiane. After that, we produce the tote bag. Tote bag, one day we can produce like 10 to 20 tote bags because we already have the design. Yeah. But for the new design, is like one design for 1 day because we have to find and have to develop the products first. Yeah.
Okay, fantastic. And so, okay, so you said most of them are farmers. So let's just talk a little bit about the artisans' lives. So how often do you visit the villages with the artisan communities, and what do you see as a part of their everyday life? You did say that they don't focus solely on cotton production, so we know that they have other lives in between, which is so different from a factory worker. A lot of times factory workers, they can be in a factory from 8 to 12 hours, 14 hours, and they're just there all day, and that is their only job. But we know for the artisans, it's a bit different because it is an additional skill that they're providing. So if you could just let us know about times that you have visited, or a story of a time that you visited an artisan community and what their life is like.
Actually, in the past, most of Lao women in the local community in the other provinces, they have they know how to do a weaving, hand weaving, but now because they produce a lot, but they don't know how to produce the product. They just know how to produce the fabric. So it seems that the fabric is over the market. So it seems that they couldn't sell the fabric. So now only few families that still keep this culture. So and most of them just go to do farming because they thought that to produce the fabric they cannot earn a lot of money. So that's why they just focus more on farming. But for us, for our team, we try to empower them that their fabric can sell and have more value, but we have to develop. If we do the same thing, yeah, I can say that you cannot sell. So you have to keep learning, you have to keep developing your product.
Right, right. Very good point there, especially seeing that a lot of people don't think, or that the possibility that the cotton industry won't produce a lot of money, except the technique for making this cotton is so unique. It's so different. It's not something that I feel like the world has seen to this level, to this extent. Like I think Lao cotton is very, very special. Um, so do you see an opportunity that if we do open the doors internationally for these products to come out, do you see this as being an opportunities for artisans, instead of having to focus on both agriculture and cotton production, that they can focus solely on cotton production, textile processing, and making, and they don't have to balance out these two different lifestyles?
Yeah, I can say that many countries that they love Lao cotton, but like as I said,
What happened?
hello, can you?
Oh my god! I was texting you. Well, that was weird. Okay.
Get back.
All right. Okay. Looks like we started right back where we left off. Okay, Zoom. All right. Let's try that again. So we're talking about wow, that threw me off. Going back
Okay,
to
we continue. Yeah, actually, most of women in rural area or in some provinces in Laos, they have quite like low education, so it make them like afraid to do their own business, and they're afraid to talk with foreigner. So yeah, so it's hard for them. But I can say that there are many markets, like global markets, need Lao cotton, like Japan and European country or USA. Yeah.
right, right, and that's really important. Is also their educational background and their level. What would you say, what is their education level like? What is their education system like? What do you know about that for your artists? We know that there's not as many design schools to go to, obviously, for our artisans, and it is
Actually
really
traditionally
passed
development, as I say.
down. Right.
Yeah, and I just do I did much research about Lao culture, because in the past they believe that men is head of family, so they just send men to school, and for the women in rural area they just send to primary school and then just drop the primary school, and they have to look after their siblings or their children. And in some provinces in Laos from now, they got married very early age. So yeah, so it seems that women they have less opportunities than men.
Right. And there's I don't remember the exact statistic, but it's a pretty high number of girls getting married under the age of 18, right?
Yeah.
And even getting pregnant and having kids. And there was a time when I visited a village, and there was a girl, she was quite young, and I mean, she had a baby, and she was also, but this was a bamboo weaving village, so this is something that is more prominent in the villages as well, you would say?
Yeah.
Right. All right. So the next question I would like to ask, aside from Pam, do you have any questions now that you're back on? Everything's
Sorry. No, you go on.
okay. The next question I have is, what ethnic artisan communities do you work with? I know that you do a lot of your production up north, and we were saying Udomsai, but what specific ethnic community groups do you work with?
In Luang Nam Tha, I think this one is Lantan ethnic group. I think many people know this ethnic group, because like your question, this is from Luang Nam Tha. from Lonam Tha province. I think they're really good at hand weaving skill and also the sewing. I think they're very good, but I think they need more designer to help them to develop their own design there, because it seems that they produce a lot the same style, the same design, and sell a lot in Long Prabang, also in night market in Vientiane. So it makes that that pattern or that design cannot sell in high price, but it's very difficult to sell that one. But like they just know how to produce, but they don't know how to do a branding for them. Mm-hmm. That's what I mean. But they're really good at hand sewing, I can say.
Yeah, and is this a tradition that was passed down, or is this also part of a skill development training usually put on by an NGO?
I'm not sure about the Lantern, but I will talk with JICA. JICA is a Japanese organization, so maybe I will talk to them that they can develop more and they can sell more their product in Japan, because I believe that this kind of thing Japan really love it, like everything is handmade. Yeah,
right. I know Japanese is a big market for Lao products. Japan Japan is a large market for Lao products, which is really exciting. And what other ethnic groups do you work with besides Latin? You also work with Hmong?
I'm not sure about Sekong. I heard that they are Kaliang. I'm not sure, but I think it's the same community as Manoli that she worked with. Sekong, yeah. Okay. But I am not close to them much, so I didn't ask about the ethnic culture. But it seems that they have their own unique pattern as well. When they do like a scarf blanket, it's like very long one, but they do a hand weaving by telling the story about their culture in one pattern.
Oh, wow. That's amazing.
And the cotton in Sekong is very thicker than other cotton in Udom Sai or in Long Nam Tha. Long Nam Tha is very thin. You can see, yeah.
Okay. Okay. So next question. Following up from that. Oh, Pan, did you have any questions? Sorry, I just want to make sure.
No, you go for it. I'll think of the question.
Okay, great. So you said that some of the brands, some of the cotton that you produce, you don't exactly know exactly the groups that you're working with. Do you have plans in the future to do more visits for the artisan community? And the reason why I ask this is just because we know that a lot of brands, if they're working with a factory, they don't get to visit the factory as much, or they don't make the effort to visit the factory as much. And it does cause issues with transparency. They might not know what the working conditions are like in that type of setting. So they might go there and see that maybe there's not air conditioning for the factory workers, or maybe just something doesn't seem right. And maybe that will help them decide as a brand if they want to continue working with this factory, if they want to move to a different one. So for artisan community groups, I would say in a way the process is the same. Just to check the conditions for the artisans. Are they working outside in the heat? What type of environment are they working from home? Just asking those questions, like to see if we can build a stronger personal connection with the artisans and then tell that story through Saya brand. So I guess what I'm mainly trying to ask is, do you have any plans to be more transparent about the artisans that you work with?
Yeah, actually, we plan to work with 17 provinces in Laos,
Awesome.
But now we approach only 5. Yeah, we approach only 5 provinces. It seems that only some, like 2 or 3 provinces that we haven't we visited yet, but we plan to visit them because, as I said, that every provinces they need to develop like the color or something. So I want, before I work with them, I have to understand what about their pattern, because I can say that each province they have different cotton and they have different color and pattern. So I have to understand that one first, and before I develop with them, I won't change what they used to do, but I will help them to I will help them uh, how to uh, develop and how what markets need. Like in the Sekong province, the Sekong pattern is very in the one pattern is very big design. So I think if you want to go to some markets, maybe they need like small design. So they just have to change big one to smaller one. Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
Okay.
And of course, we will visit them because there's still many things that they need to improve. Like they cannot improve, they cannot develop through the phone, because every day I work with them on phone or maybe video call with them.
Mm. Okay, fantastic. And do they have, when you're working with the artisans, do they have a production center that they work from, or are they working from their homes?
They work from home because mostly from home. Yeah.
Okay.
And only the Long Nam Tha or Lantern Ethnic Group, they have a team, committee team. Like I talk to one leader, and then if I say that I need a lot of the fabric, so she just go to the committee and then ask everyone help. Yeah.
All right. So let's go on to if you have some photos that you would like to share with you and your team, would you like to share them through this? I think there's a function here, the share screen.
Okay. Let me see.
Yeah, and then while we prepare for that, so for the next part, I do want to see like what your guys' take on working with, what you guys' take is, if it's easier to probably work with factories or if it's easier to work with artisans. So that's what we'll be talking about at the
Not whether this one or not.
Yeah, there we go. Yeah, it looks
Okay,
good.
yeah, that was
Yeah, it looks
Okay,
good.
okay. This is our team. Actually, as I said, that we have our team in Vientiane. So now we have 4 people that work in our shop, like behind me. And this one is Wang Vieng team. Actually, all of our weaving committee teams, they most of them are like elders. As I said that. It seems that young people or young generation, they don't seem that weaving is important for them. So that's why I need to empower that the cotton, the fabric can sell, but like Lao market is quite small, so we need to export. We need to help them. This one we start from Kham Muang province. At first we use the fabric from Kham Muang, but we stopped because we concerned about the quality of fabric. First of all, we use Kham Muang fabric, but it seems that it's not strong enough if I compare with Udom Sai. So I just asked them that they have to develop more their cotton, and they have to grow the cotton by themselves, because it make them it help them to keep a low cost for produce the fabric. And now it seems that they stop doing and they focus on other things. Like I can say that if we work with local people, it's very hard to change them, to change their behavior, because they used to use the chemical fabric to produce the product. And then I try to change them to produce the fabric with natural cotton, with natural dye. But of course we will face many problems. So they might think that it's difficult for them, so they just stop doing on natural things. They back to the chemical cotton. So that's why we have to stop with them. But I also tell them that if you really want to change, just come back to us. We always welcome. And this one is from Dong Nam Tha. This is London. I work with this lady. She's like, I think she's very good leader in that committee. So
beautiful.
She's
and I
very kind.
love their ethnic dress, just the styling.
Actually,
yes.
Actually this cotton is the same cotton as your pillow.
Oh, yay! Representing.
And it is from Bolikamsai, as I said, that how can I approach local people nowadays. I work with JICA team, and then they just brought Bolikamsai team to Vientiane, and then we did a training for them, and then we made some fabric producers, so we keep connecting with them. And I don't have Udom Sai and Sekong pictures yet.
Oh, but this is perfect. Yeah. It's great to see what communities that you work with and seeing what the artisans look like and a little bit of the work environment that you can see through the photos. And fantastic job. I'm so excited like that you will be growing even larger to work with. You said 15 or 17 provinces is your plan? Yeah, that's amazing. And I definitely believe that you'll make quite an impact. Your brand will make quite an impact and help improve the lives of the artisans in these communities, and show that there is a demand for these products and that we can continue to produce in this slow manner rather than looking at mass manufacturing. So with that, I do want to move on just to any questions, any other questions from the board? Just check. Good. All right, so the next question I wanted to go into is a little bit about just discussion on what do you think personally about the difference between working with a factory for mass manufacturing versus working with artisans? We really want to dive into this question because we know that the conditions are different. The conditions are different for factory workers versus artisans, just as we talked about. A lot of artisans, they do have the opportunity to be able to work from home, and now with the coronavirus, a lot of us are seeing this shift of working from home versus the problems that we see about factory workers having to work from the factory and live from the factory. So I just wanted to introduce just a few, some stuff that we've researched before. And that is, there's discussion that that there's basically recruiters that come to different ethnic communities, and they will recruit girls to go and work in factories abroad. So it could be working in a factory in Thailand, working in a factory in China, or even Cambodia, or just in a different province in Vientiane. And sometimes when they move away from their families, they're just looking for better opportunities. They're looking for better work, pay, so that way they can bring some of that income into their family. But they have to do that by leaving their villages. And so to work in a factory. So what would you say, like, for that, like working from these women leaving their villages to work in a factory versus providing opportunities like you do for artisans to stay in their local communities and develop from there?
Actually, I think depends on the decision, but I think if as I work with local people, they work in their communities. When they improve or they develop something, they can develop that community with them. If you work in factory, so you just improve yourself with your team in the factory. But if you work at home, you can teach your family, you can teach your neighbor to to grow that business. What I can say is for work from home at the community is about the part of social development. They can develop that area. They can help those people to get more job, like to help them to build a team so that village can develop very fast. If you work at factory in Vientiane, so as I said that they might concern about a lot of income and then just send back to home. I think it's quite different, yeah. But for work with the committee, I can say it's slower than work at factory.
Right. Right. It is a lot slower. That is one big thing, is that the handicraft industry, because everything is handmade and it is a slower process, it does make the products more expensive versus working from a factory with mass manufacturers. And do you know of any factories, so outside of Saya brand, do you know of any factories within, it could be within Lao, or any factories outside of the country that a lot of Lao women go to for work opportunities?
I think in Thailand, because I visit Thai a lot, and then I met someone that who do their own factory, like a t-shirt factory. He told me that many Lao women work with them, and I know only this, and I'm not sure about the other countries. Yeah.
Okay, Thailand.
And yeah, and I heard some Japan company, they came to Laos, and then they brought the fabric from La Ha Nam. La Ha Nam is in Samanakhet province. Like they have contract for 3 years in 2012 at La Ha Nam, in La Ha Nam. So they brought all the fabric in that communities.
Okay. And so what are some of the positives and negatives that you see working with artisan communities versus the opportunity that you might be able to get from a factory? So let's say that you were to switch your brand to work with more factory producers, just so you can have a stronger output. Instead of 3 months of designing your products, maybe you'll be able to have a larger stock, right? Working with a factory. So what do you see the pros and cons with working with an artisan community versus factory?
For working with artisan in the community, I can say that everyone work with heart. So everything is about the arts. Everyone have different skill. Everyone have their own unique. Like if I produce the fabric, you will get the fabric that designed by me. And other people cannot do. So this one, I think we got the uniqueness of the fabric. If compared with the factory fabric, everything is the same. But about the obstacle is the quality of the fabric. About the artisans, maybe they sometimes it's good, sometimes it's bad. Like as I said, that the color is different, always different. Yeah.
And especially for
it's not consistent.
Same color, yeah. But I think this one is unique, unique for fabric from local baby.
Yeah. So yeah, great point there, especially because we know that you say that a lot of the factory workers working in Thailand are Lao women in this particular t-shirt factory. It might change the way that the community is structured, again, like you were saying, focus on them as an individual rather than sharing those skills with their local community and with their homes. So there's a difference where one, on one side of the spectrum, we have them able to send more money back at home, but they have to be away. And the other side is to be able to produce something that's unique, that's craftsmanship. It's about almost like artistic expression coming from an artisan. And they have more flexibility to work on the product when they feel like they can work on the product. But for you as a business, what are some of the negative sides of that? Besides, I know we talked about the colors changing, but what other negative sides do you see for working with an artisan community that you might not be able to produce as much as you would want to produce and sell?
Yeah, I can say that every they have a limit because some of province they work only 2 or 3 families. Like if I got a lot of order, sometimes they cannot produce the huge fabric for us because they have quite limit. So that's why we have to work with many communities across Laos because we believe that one province cannot supply much fabric that we need.
Right. And I think it's actually really good that you do it that way, just because we are seeing that the world is taking this shift of trying to slow down that industry, and that we don't really need as much. It's not that we need 50 tote bags, because then we have to increase that market demand and get people to buy all 50, right? But the way that you have shown the production for it is that artisans are able to live, they're able to live their lives how they want to live their lives. And there isn't as strict of a production demand on the timeline of your products versus what you would receive in a factory. And we know for a factory, a lot of times you put an order in, maybe it's a quantity of 500 and it has to be done by this day and delivered. But with artisans, there's a little bit more freedom. From my understanding of what you're saying, that there's a little bit more freedom for that production or for those products to be made, right? So you say sometimes it can take a few days, other times it can take a couple of weeks to make those products, right?
Yeah, I can say that for the factory side, producer they pay by salary, but for the communities that they work in the community, they just in Laos, I try to work with them as a partner. Like if you send the fabric to us, and then we will produce the product, and then after that, when I sell the product, we will divide the income. But they say they don't understand at once, sir. Like after they send the products, after they send the fabric to us, we have to pay them at that time. Like if you produce a lot, you can earn money a lot.
Right.
So yeah, I think this one is quite different. So they have time to do their farm. Yeah.
Wonderful.
Quite freedom.
Yeah, more freedom.
But, yeah, but it's very hard because I can say that in some provinces they don't have a responsibility about the timeline. Like when I give them the deadline, sometimes they cannot do. Yeah, it's very challenging. Yeah.
And I think going back to, can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah. And I think going back to the point when you said that they would prefer to get paid like right away when they supply you with the fabric, I think it's because they need to use the money as well. Like they don't work like us, like they don't work full hours in the office, and so they have to, like, they get paid with just that amount, and then it's like it might be like small amount, or sometimes it's like a big amount, but they have to use, like they have to be able to use that money to compensate for the time that they don't get paid. Because for us, like we know that we get paid every month, even though we, like, doesn't matter how much we work in that month, like probably a lot, probably like small, but for them it's like it's not consistent. So I think I can understand why they don't like to get paid right after you get to sell your product, because you can never know when you're gonna be selling the products as well. So yeah.
Yeah, it's really tough for us because when we order the fabric, it's really, yeah, I can say that a lot. So we have to pay a lot. We have to invest a lot every 3 months. Yeah.
Great point, because right now, this is a really, really great point to hit on, actually. Because right now, we're seeing with the coronavirus, so many retail shops aren't even able to sell their products across the world. So we're seeing that there's so many brands who are canceling the orders for products that are already produced in the factory, but they're canceling the orders. So a lot of times they have this system where they won't pay the workers until that product is delivered into the country that it's supposed to sell in. So if I'm an American company and I order from Cambodia or I order from Bangladesh, and with this coronavirus going on, all the stores are shut down, so they're canceling orders, but the products are already produced. Where it's opposite here, because we know that the artisans are already paid for the work beforehand. And I think that's really, really important. It's something that needs to be implemented like throughout the world, actually, is ensuring that people are paid fairly in a timely manner. Because we know, like, salary based, like we are, I think all three of us are salary based, and a lot of people around the world are salary based. But when we look at work like this, when it comes to something that we never know what's going to happen in the world, we don't even know if we'll be able to sell all of these products. Maybe it is better that we ensure our workers and the garment workers who are actually making the products are paid first.
Yeah.
So, and it is quite an investment, and definitely seeing that there are a lot of businesses who are trying to work the way towards being able to make that upfront investment. And I think that upfront investment is so important because it's part of the supply chain. If you're going to sell this fabric, or if you're going to sell this t-shirt, the person who made that fabric should be paid first.
Yeah, like I said, because also once they've paid, then like I think like, for example, for you don't you get that bulk, right? And then you know that this virus thing hit, and then you can decide if you want to stop producing for now. So you probably will be like, oh hey, for the time being, we want to cancel we want to skip the order. Like, we want to make sure that this business is going well and everything, so we don't want the fabric from you yet. And so I think that would be, because it's a possibility, because you don't want to keep producing if you're not going to be selling any, right? So I think paying upfront is good just for them for that time anyway, so then they know that, okay, we won't be producing anymore, and then they can use that time to do other things that will make the living, instead of waiting for this.
Great. So yeah, very exciting all around. Just hearing about your brand, especially because I think a lot of brands right now are trying to focus on doing a strategy that you have already created and that you are already you're already doing. And so I think that's very inspiring. Do you have anything else that you would like to share about your artisans, like any stories that you might have about who you work with? And just, again, we're asking the question, who made my clothes, because we want to ensure transparency and safe working environments and conditions, and that people are paid fairly. So if you have any stories that you would like to share, we have a few more minutes left.
Maybe about our product. Before we produce something, we be concerned a lot. Like, if we gonna have a new collection next month, we have to start it design the fabric with our team in Vientiane first. And after that, we just send that to our local team that they can do or not. After that, we have to produce only one piece of product first to test it. We won't sell it when we produce the first one, because we want to be concerned about the quality and concerned about our customer as well. And I think my team, my core team, I think they are really good at, they have different kind of good skill. Like for one person, she good at the design, keep the minimal design, keep the simple design, but with the good pattern. And for the other one, she's very good at tailoring. So as I said that, sometimes we know only design, but we don't know how to make the product. But we have 3 people have different kind of skills. So I think now is very great. Now it's enough for me, but in the future, if we have more demand, we have more order, we need more team. But everyone, I can say everyone understand what is Sayak brand, what is our goal. I think team is very important. If you don't have the same goal, it's very hard to move on, right? But I didn't say that everyone is perfect, but I can say that they developed a lot, they improved a lot. They try to keep learning every day by themselves. I think this one is, make our team strong already, yeah. But in the future, I really want to work with, I want to work with young people, because I believe that young people, they have different idea that I don't have. So I want to hear from them more, and then how can we make it? Actually, our goal is we want to sell our product to global markets. Like when I went to UK, I said I'm from Laos. They don't know where is Laos. So I want to bring Sayak brand to tell them where is Laos. Yeah.
Right, and that's really important. I've also had the same thing when I was like flying back. Actually, when I flew back from the UK to here, the flight attendant, she had to double check to see if Laos was a real place or not. So I think that's really important, and the products are just so beautiful here. The process behind making it, the tradition of making it, and still this heavy use of working with natural materials that a lot of people focus on. Sustainable fashion, ethical fashion, green fashion, whatever we want to call it in this word of sustainability. They're looking for products like this, and I think what you're doing with Saya brand and the communities that you work with, your stories will really help spread that transparency of who made my clothes, all the way from the country to the individual ethnic groups and the communities that you're working with. Okay, so we just have a few more minutes left. So we have 3 minutes left. Do you have anything else that you would like to share? And it could be anything regarding Fashion Revolution, what made you interested in taking this panel call, and if you've heard anything about us before this year, because we did work together last year a little bit.
Actually, I can say that, as I said, that every provinces, they have very good skill on hand weaving, producing the fabric, but I need the young designer that they have their own idea. If possible, use slab fabric to produce the product. But at first, you should understand what is cotton. Sometimes cotton is very thick, cannot depends on the cotton in each province. Some province, they cannot make a clothes to wear in Laos because it's very hot already. But you can export to other. And for the local communities, there are still many communities that we haven't approached yet, and they still need our help, and they still need hope as well. So why not we use Lao product? Why not we help Lao people to go through the global market? I didn't say only Sayak brand that can go. I think everyone can bring Lao to global market, but we we need more young designer
Mm.
to focus deeply on Lao fabric, not only cotton but on silk as well. And not only that, you have concern about what is your target customer, and about the branding. I think it's very important when I do this business. I think branding is the most important.
Right. Thank you so much. Yeah, thank you so much for joining us today. And we're very much looking forward to hearing what the responses are for this video, and seeing again, how can we bring the Lao products to the global market, and how can we encourage young people and the local community and the worldwide community to purchase made in Lao products to help develop the economy stronger for these ethnic communities. Do you have any questions, Ben? Last remarks? All right. So
no, I think I think it's really amazing hearing your stories. Although I missed some part, like, do you want to catch me up what I missed when the connection went out? Did I miss anything important, or? Because when I came back,
I think on that time we talk about women culture in Lao.
Okay.
About why some of Lao women, they have less opportunity to study.
Right. Okay. Right.
Okay.
Yes.
Thank you.
For joining us today. I'll stop it at an hour, so that way we make sure that well, we're an hour over, so I might cut this part off. I'm gonna cut this part off because we can upload exactly 60 minutes to IGTV. And it's been a struggle, guys, trying to get the video from yesterday all uploaded up. But I'm trying with this.
Yeah, it is a big file.
It's a huge file. But yeah, thank you again for joining us. And then again, we're just going to keep encouraging people to ask, like, who made my clothes, and hoping that we can encourage more people here in Lao to purchase made in Lao products instead of products that are coming from abroad and all bought in, even if it's cheaper. Especially because I feel like the night, like you said, the night market is quite a competitor with the products, especially if their prices are quite low and we're trying to sell products for a little bit higher than that. So, all right, so I'll end it there. Anything else, guys? Yeah. Okay. Awesome. So I am very excited about the online shop, though, and seeing how the online shop will go and how you present the stories about the artisans and your products online as well. So, all right. Thank you, everybody. So, any other things?
Thank you.
All right. Awesome. Thank you for joining. Okay. So I'm going to stop the recording here.